and welcome to another episode of Exploring Standards. I'm your host, Jess, and today I'm very excited to have Kathy Clements back on the show. Kathy, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. For those who haven't listened to the show before, Kathy has been on numerous amounts of times, and Kathy is an ISO consultant and lead auditor for Assent Risk Management in ISO 14001 Environmental Management and ISO 9001 Quality Management. So today's topic that we're talking about today is implementing ISO standards within your own company. And the reason we're talking about this is because recently Assent Risk Management have actually gained certification ISO ourselves. Kathy, do you want to start us off with a little bit of information about that?
Yes. So we've always run to the standards. We've always had the systems set up. It just never really occurred to us to go the whole hog and get them fully certified because of that sort of stopping point where, okay, now we have to do the certification bit. And we were always going, yes, but I have 62 clients. And so it never really fell over the line like that. And then one day we just went, oh yeah, we could do that now. So we went ahead and got the certification. We actually have 9001, 14001 and 27001 set up. But we've started with the 9001 and 14001. Get that accredited because we wanted to make some updates and some changes to the way we handle information security to try and make it more accessible to everyone in the company, not just those that are technically minded. So we're actually going for the 27001 full accreditation next year. So I'm really hoping Robert's going to take quite a lot of that because technology scares me.
Absolutely. It's like a painter. They never paint their own house, do they? That's exactly the same sort of thing. Yeah. So you just briefly mentioned that we are certified in ISO 9001 and 14001 and soon to be 27001. So why did we choose these standards?
So as for most businesses, they're basically the most relevant. They're usually the most relevant to the company. 9001 is relevant to everyone, everywhere, all the time because it's quality. And if you're running a business, quality of service is the key thing. It's the thing that you have to get right because it's everything from the quality of the product or service you sell right through to the customer service, the support of the customer and dealing with any issues that may arise. That's just life. That's just business. The 14001, we're already a paperless company. We're already employing people remotely like yourself. I don't see you trekking down to good old Southend every day to come to work because there's no need for that. I don't blame you personally. Bit of a trek.
Only 5 hours, one way.
Only 5 hours. Yeah, why not? Just do that in a day and then go back again. No problem. But for us, that was, the sustainability piece has always been a big thing. Wanting to get to, net zero or carbon positive, negative, however that terminology has recently changed to take in all the new requirements. And so for us, that was, yes, obviously. The 27001, well, Rob really started the whole business in the information security area. That whole piece was everything he always adhered to. And so it was already there anyway. And we just went, well, why not actually get it officially done? Because we're doing it all anyway. And whether we'll go for any other standards, I don't know. It depends how relevant they are in terms of if we're already doing it, does it need to be certified? Is it that big of a deal? And also how much time it takes up when, as a growing company, things come at you from all angles. And all of a sudden, you've got 3 new employees in the space of 6 months, and you're suddenly having to get that tucked away before you can focus on other things. So that's why those 3 currently.
I like that. Currently, because there's always room for growth. And we know that, yeah.
Always. There's always something. They're a bit addictive, the standards you find. Once you add a couple, and then you can just add that one, and then we could just add that one, and then suddenly you've got like a whole book that you didn't expect to have. So,
something that was really important going into certifying is choosing the certification body, and I'm very curious as to how you guys chose the certification body that we went with.
So we work with several certification bodies regularly. We like to keep quite a wide range of certification bodies for working with clients, because the different certification bodies obviously meet different needs. And when I'm talking to a client, I always say, please, before you choose a cert body, talk to them, because you need to know if their personality matches yours.
Mm-hmm.
Some are very document heavy, some are more colloquial, they're more casual, they want to see it actually working. Some will stick to the letter, some will say, yeah, but that's not how life works. And so when it came to choosing a cert body, we really took all those things into consideration for ourselves. They had to come in and seamlessly just slide in, do what they needed to do, and then slide out again without causing stress, without anyone feeling on the spot. And we ended up with Uva, A-U-V-A, who they keep telling me how to pronounce the name, and I keep forgetting how to pronounce it. A bit like, is it GIF or GIF? I'm not
yes,
sure.
I feel that. I feel that.
And so we ended up with those guys, largely because we work with them very regularly. They're very local to us. They're a small company as well, although growing exponentially in sort of a shocking speed. And they fit our personality. They think along the same lines as us. They run their business on a similar model to us. And it was just too much of a good fit to turn away from. So we said to them, yeah, hi, we'd like to recommend a client, us. And went from there.
That's fantastic. I think the part about finding a cert body that matches your personality within the company and it makes you gel better. I think that's definitely key when it comes to certification. It makes it a lot easier, makes it a lot smoother, makes you much more comfortable.
For everyone, including the auditor.
For everybody. Yeah, exactly. So this might be different for you guys, but how do you find the process of having someone to come in and do internal audits?
So you're right. It is a funny question, because we didn't do our own internal audits. We got a consultant in to do it. Mm-hmm. And it was a little bit weird, because obviously it's what we do ourselves. I internal audit 9 and 14 all the time. It's my main job. And so having someone else come in and ask me the questions I'd normally ask myself, I was like, I do know how to answer this, but this feels really weird to have to tell you what I'm normally asking other people. But thankfully that he was absolutely top guy, took everything in stride, including me going, yes, I do know how we do it, but I don't know how to describe it, which you often get clients doing. And I've gone, hey, don't worry, put it in your own words. And then when it's me, I'm like, well, I have to put it professionally so that you'll understand. No, he was very casual, very laid back, absolutely ran through, no problem. Everyone was really happy chatting to him. So it was thankfully a lot easier than it could have been, than everyone sort of worried about. And now I get it. Like, I tell clients, don't panic. It's not all that. And your internal auditor is on your side. You've hired them to do this bit for you. And then when you've actually got to take that advice yourself, don't panic.
So it's very interesting, isn't it? You're like, no, it's absolutely fine. Then you deal with it. You're like, it's not fine. This isn't fine. I'm not terrified,
okay. Yes.
At least now you can sympathize a bit more with the clients and be like, I know how you're feeling. I know this, and you're doing great.
Yes, and also there were things he asked that I went, oh, that's such a better way of putting it. Yeah. I'm going to use that phrasing in future. That's great. I'm going to do that. So it was an education as well, which is wonderful. That's what we all want. We always want to keep learning, especially in this business. It doesn't stop changing, and you're meeting new personalities every day. Mm-hmm. And so to have that perspective was so handy.
That's very interesting. It's always good to learn something, as you said. So you've kind of briefly touched on this, but can you tell us a bit more about how was the certification process?
So I'm used to keeping my own clients running along, keep it moving, get your dates booked in. And then I suddenly came to the conclusion, oh, that's quite a big ask, because when you're asking two full-time consultants, myself and Robert, to get the system set up, obviously with input from other people, but also we've got to keep the plates spinning as well. And then you've got to get your dates booked in. And it suddenly occurred to me, it's no wonder people hire a consultant to do this. Because if we'd hired a consultant, they could have kept us running, and I wouldn't have had to keep going, oh, I didn't book that, and running off and doing it. So it was thankfully so easy with the cert body we chose. They were really lovely about reminding us, did you want this booked in, or were you looking for another date? Oh, yes, no, yeah, we did want that. We wanted that one booked in. Thank you very much. And I was really glad it was so straightforward, because it's great for us to be able to do these ISOs for people. But a lot of the people in our company don't actually do the ISO bit themselves, if you see what I mean. Rob and I are the consultants. You guys and everyone in the office, they're used to seeing the work that comes out of it. They're not used to actually being part of the system. So then suddenly doing the certification process with them and guiding them through it, well, yes, but I can tell you where to find this stuff because it's our system. It was both much easier and much more complicated than I expected. Because it's so much easier from the outside to go, oh, I can see how that connects. I can see. But when you're in the middle of it and you're looking at all the different strings, putting them together into that stream, I can really see how that's daunting to some people. You know, that can be a daunting task. But luckily, the certification process just ran longer than expected, but smoother than expected. So it was. I'm really hoping the 27,001 is the same. Just yes, just drift, and I can just be like, here you go, Rob. You take that bit.
I think you're absolutely right, because I myself, I work in the creative side of things. I don't obviously do with the actual standards. I know we have quite a big back office. We're very lucky. We have an amazing team that help, with all that back office stuff, which is amazing. But as you said, we don't really know what goes on in an audit, or we don't really know what to expect. Obviously we do learn things, but being in the thick of it, we haven't had a chance to do, but now we've had that experience, which I think then is going to also help our back office as well to understand a bit more for our clients. And our
yes, I
consultants.
think it really helps that client support bit as well, because now that I've had to say, okay, our policy is here, you're going to be asked for it now. We've got it certified, and this is here. You're going to need to put some stuff on there. If this happens, put it on this document. And now that, I can make use of that. That's quicker, that's easier. Or, now I haven't got 4 spreadsheets because I realize we can actually put them all in one. And I really hope that has been the experience that they've had. I'm not sure they'd tell me if it wasn't, and if it was dreadful, because I'm in the company. Like I said, when you have a consultant, it's a different...
A bit more removed, isn't it?
A bit more removed. But so I do think, I hope that has helped all you guys connect those dots that otherwise they're just vague ideas, theories in the air. Now that you've seen it happen for us, I hope that's helped clarify it for you.
Yeah, no, it definitely has, yeah.
If not, I've not done the awareness requirement properly, and we need to sort that out.
Okay, so next, we've talked all about certification and the certification body, but how was the implementation process?
It was, as I've said before, an education from this side out. You're used to using these documents all the time. You're used to seeing these documents all the time. And as I say to clients, you're already doing it. You've just got to set it up a certain way to meet the requirements. And so for us, yes, we had them already running to the requirements, but then you have to really check it's all going as it should. And when everyone's got a million different job roles, as in any small company will tell you, people are wearing 3 or 4 hats in a day, just switching them out, depending on who they're talking to. It really can get lost. So for me, it was a real experience in keeping, as I say, the plate spinning. And it was such a relief to look around the company and go, yes, we do that. It's over there. Oh, we do that. I've got a policy for that. That's wonderful. I'm going to put this all together in one place and make it so much easier to find. That's called our ISO system. It's all here. We were already doing it. We did all have it all, but it was a little bit scattered. And it really helped bringing it all into line, because now we've continued that onto other projects that we're running internally for us. And we're bringing those into line a little bit better, making them a bit neater. So it sparked a whole host of things I did not expect to find, but they're all really good things to be doing. And particularly with the company growing the way it is, I hope that makes it easier for new people coming in. So even if you don't go for full certification, the implementation bit is brilliant for really bringing it all into line and streamlining it, which was very nice to see from this side of the fence. So
That's fantastic to hear. Obviously, that is one thing I think we harp on about a lot with the certification, or even implementing, as you said, the streamlining is, people just don't realize actually how much you can streamline things. And that's where, ISO certification sort of really helps you there. Yeah. Okay, right. So what are your biggest takeaways?
Pizza. Or did you not mean those kind of takeaways?
Chinese, Indian? No.
No, pizza. Biggest takeaways from the project. The number one thing was do not underestimate just how many tasks people are actually doing. And I mean that both in terms of things that meet the requirement of the standard, and also you'll suddenly discover how many different tasks there are inside each job role. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, that because you aren't doing the job role yourself, you don't necessarily see it. And then you come to implement something with someone and you say, okay, so how do you do this? And then they go, well, and then you're there for ages going, okay, yes, good. That's a lot of things. I need to write that down now so that we can evidence what you're doing. And I've seen it all the time in clients and watched the, top management just sort of appear completely baffled when one of their employees is reeling off, this is how we do it, and we have to do this bit and fill out that and check this and do that and click that button. And then to do that for us, it suddenly became an education on actually how enormous it is to run a company like this. Mm-hmm. And it made me go, yes, I'm very glad that I'm a little bit removed so I can just overview and pull the bits together. If I was right in the thick of it, I have no idea how I would have pulled any of this information together into one line. So hopefully, going forward with clients as well as with ourselves, it will give me a better idea of, okay, don't expect a straight answer, a one thing answer to one question. One question might not have one answer. It might have 6 answers. It might have 2 answers. It might have 2 answers with 2 sub-answers. Just be prepared for everything and you won't be stunned. And I think that is what I hear from clients, is there's just so much. Yes, there is. I'm sorry about that.
But there is. Yeah. It's funny you say that, because obviously as we were doing this implementation and, going for certification, obviously you reached out to us and asked for some process maps. And yes. I remember thinking, oh, okay, right, yeah, well, obviously I do this. So what are my steps doing this? And I was putting it together and I was like, oh, okay. But don't forget to put that in. And you're right. When you break down a job, or even like when I do it, there's just so many different steps. And you just, it's a bit like, whoa, that's a lot.
And of course, for you do it every day. So for you, it's just la da 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 da. Mm-hmm. But when you have to write it down and really break down as if you're trying to teach someone from scratch how to do it, it's suddenly, I don't know about you, but when I wrote my process maps, I was going, do I do that first or do that? Oh, wait, do I do this? Do I do that way? Or is it that first? And then you start questioning yourself and you go, I'm going to have to just do it and write a note every time I've done something. And it's the only way I can do
it. I know, I felt that. And I remember thinking, I have to do this as if I can hand someone the process map and they could do this particular task without even speaking to me. And I was like, well, how much detail do I need? Is this too much detail? Are they going to know to click that button? Like, it's...
Yes. And then you go, if I do write that, and then the process changes because the software updates and suddenly that button isn't there, it's somewhere else, I've got to remember to go back and change the process map. Yes. So then you end up going back on yourself, don't you, and going, no, I'm just going to write, look for this, and then they can find it. If it moves or it's changed colour or the process is different, I don't then have to remember every process map I put it in. It's suddenly an actual I, like an I, not an I like the letter I. So, genuine example. Much. Genuine example, one of our softwares.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe it. Okay, finally, any advice for those who are implementing or going for certification or thinking about even getting into ISO standards or wanting to implement them?
Well, as I said at the top, don't panic. And as I said, that's easier said than done. First of all, genuinely seriously consider getting someone into support, even if that's someone within your own company. If you've got someone else working alongside you and you're in the middle of putting together a non-conformance log and you're halfway through titling the columns and then you get a phone call, you can say, oh, can I just give this to you? And they can carry on with it. And then it doesn't get lost because you've got that second brain, that second pair of eyes. And that, as I say, you don't have to hire someone like us. You can do that internally. If you're going to go for someone like us, talk to us first. Get an idea of who we are. Make sure we fit your personality. Make sure we both understand how you need this to run. Do you need it done in 3 months flat? Because if so, we're going to take a slightly different approach. If you want it done 9 months, maybe by the end of 2025, great, that'll be a slightly different approach again. So be prepared to chop and change as you're working, because companies change every day. You'll have tiny workload 1 minute, massive workload, and you're hiring people, then it will go back down again. So because the process is long, be prepared to move around and change how you do things. And other than that, please ask a lot of questions. Please ask a lot of questions of your cert body, of Google if you need to. Don't get lost in it, because once you get lost in it and it all suddenly becomes overwhelming, it will make you not want to finish the task. But it's such a great task to finish. So ask the questions. There are no stupid questions. Believe me, there are days when I go in to do my job and I forget what one of the requirements is called. And I'll go, the thing where you have to sit and look at it and make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do, that requirement. And then I have to go to the stand and go, I meant internal auditing. Sorry about that. And it happens to us all. So
yeah,
there are no stupid questions.
That's wonderful to hear, because I know myself how daunting ISO can be, and there are questions, and there are lots of them.
So many. Ask them
so
all.
many questions.
There is no stupid question.
Well, thank you very much, Kathy. Thank you so much for joining on the show today and giving this wonderful insight into implementing an ISO standard.
You're very, very welcome. It's always a lot of fun talking through this stuff, because you live in your little ISO world, and then suddenly you get to tell someone about
it. Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
But yes, thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. And thank you for listening to today's episode. If you have enjoyed it, please make sure to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the podcast. And I'll be back with an episode in a couple of weeks.